उसने 6वें महीने ने 6 तारीख एफीगम रोड रोडन मिल सी इत्थे कम किया इत्थे स्टार्ट होया मेरा फुफी जात पाई सी उस परामर्श की है इत्थे फिर मैं लगा स्टक जारी बड़े बड़े लोहे होने सन उसकी छोटा करने सन जेड़ा मिला में जाना सी तो फिर उत्थे कटने वाले होने सन बंदे कोरे अस फिर बदाने ना उसकी तरोने सन तरोने तो बाद फिर 2 जने उसकी स्टक बनाने सन फड़ी लाने सन ऐसे रहना ए रखिया ना फिर इत्थे रखिया फिर इत्थे रखिया फिर क्रेन ना चैन भाव ते क्रेन नाल ट्रकों में लोड होना सी उत्थों फिर माल फैक्ट्री जाना सी जेड़ा फैक्ट्री जो तैयार होते जाना सी ना उसमें रस्ता बखला सी उसमें गेट बखला सी
We're very fortunate that we've got elders and we need to be under their shadows, because if it wasn't for them, their hard work, their dedication, their commitment, how they came to this country, what they suffered and all the hardship they went through, we've got everything on the plate.
Actually, I didn't want to come to this country. I never, felt that I should go there. But Mr. Bashir applied for himself and applied for my send application. But I had 2 degrees, so I was given A-class voucher from British government, because at that time British government was in need of professional teachers, doctors and all that, and not only those but also as a labourer, because most of the people, it was just after World War II, so and Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth went there into at that time, and she asked that why don't you especially ex-army people who served for British Army, and so they were coming, and I came in 1964. All these my colleagues, Mr. Bashir and other teachers, they said, all right, if go there, get some degree from England. If you are not going for job, you can come back, but you can get some degree from there. So I came.
तो वोचर सिस्टम जब शुरू हुआ तो आजिज साहब ने अप्लाई किया, तो मेरे एक दोस्त थे, अल्लाह उन्हें जन्नत करे, मास्टर नायतुल्ला साहब, वो मटोर हाई स्कूल में पढ़ाया करते थे, उनका भी वोचर था। आजिज साहब का वोचर आया तो ये आने में जो है ना वो पसो पेश कर रहे थे। मैंने कहा कि नहीं आप जाएं, मेरा वोचर अब नहीं आया था क्योंकि ये जो ग्रेजुएट थे उनको उन्होंने फ़ौरन भेज दिए थे, डबल ग्रेजुएट जो थे। तो उसके बाद आजिज साहब यहाँ आए, उसके बाद इन्होंने मैं 69 के आखिर में आया, तो आजिज साहब के पास ही आया था यहाँ शेफील्ड में ही, तो उस वक्त से यहाँ शेफील्ड में ही हूँ। उसके बाद फिर यहाँ आने के बाद मसला था काम का, तो काम के सिस्टम में उस वक्त बेशुमार काम होते थे, लेकिन काम फैक्ट्री में ही होते थे, चाहे आप पढ़े हुए हैं चाहे नहीं। आज नज़ीर साहब कहने लगे कि मैंने भी यहाँ पहले फैक्ट्री में शुरू किया है। आज सब उस वक्त बसों में काम करते थे, तो इसलिए जो भी काम मिल जाए ना वो ले लेना चाहिए। तो मैंने कहा आइए, इसीलिए तो अल्लाह का शुक्र फिर मैंने वहाँ 3 साल काम किया लेका लेंजरी में, और आपकी दुआ से अल्लाह की मेहरबानी से वो बात यही आती है कि कुछ अगर ज़बान का असर थोड़ी बहुत अंग्रेज़ी आती थी, इस सिलसिले में वहाँ बड़ी इज़्ज़त करते थे फैक्ट्री में भी। बल्कि मैंने ये किया है कि उस वक्त मैंने 4 आदमी वहाँ फैक्ट्री में मुलाजम कराए। होता था ना कि काम हो, आपके दोस्त शफाकत के अब्बा थे, वो कहने लगे काम नहीं है, तो अगर वो कहते हैं कि वो फैक्ट्री में अगर काम मिल जाए, तो मैंने मैनेजर से कहा तो कहने लगा ले आना दूसरे दिन।
One of my cousin, he was in Sheffield, and there was other 2 or 3 people here. So I brought some presents from their family. So I came here, and then my friends in Glasgow, they said, "Oh, you come here," because he was with family over there. And even my sisters from home, they said, "You should go to Glasgow because you will get help from, she will cook food for you and all that." Whereas in Sheffield, they are on their own. You will have to suffer for preparation of food and all that. Anyway, I came here, then I went to Glasgow. I got a job as a bus conductor over there. And when I came back to Sheffield to take my baggage, the people who were in Sheffield, they say, "Oh, we don't want you to. We will not let you go there." I said, "All right, I'll stay here." But when I came on here on the 23rd of March 1964, and the people, my relatives who were here, they took me down to the employment office, which was at Attercliffe. And they said, don't say anything. We will answer to them at the interview. Anyway, that receptionist and the lady asked, "What were you doing in Pakistan?" I said, "I was teacher there." She said, "We haven't got a teacher job, but we have got a job in steel work, which was Sanderson and Newbold, a steel firm on New Hall Road." I said, my friend said, "Yes, all right, okay, we'll accept."
We must understand that when they were invited after the Second World War, they came here to rebuild this country. So they've got a huge, input into the, modernization of the West and especially England. Because if it wasn't of these migrant workers, we would not be living this kind of comfortable life.
My dad came in the late 50s, mid 50s, I'd say, and worked in London, and then arrived into Sheffield due to a lot of his relatives living in Sheffield in the Fairvale area. And the work that he did, he worked for the Firth Brown Company, and he resided on Popple Street in the Page Hall area, in one of the small terrace houses behind the Packer Centre. My earliest memories about my dad was he was hard. He worked hard. There were a total of 4 sisters and 2 brothers, and he worked as well as working in the steel industry. He went to college. He went to adult education. He got my mum into adult education classes to learn English. And they both went to the Earl Marshall. There was an Earl Marshall adult education centre there, and they attended that. So they were very active, both of them. So they learned English, both of them. He also had to support his family back home because he had 2 brothers that were still in Pakistan, and his income that he kind of made was split between their family and our family. So he was a hard worker. They weren't very good working conditions because he used to come back in his overalls being really dirty, and my mum used to say that then in those times there used to be a lot of smoke and pollution in the air and in the area, and she used to say it used to get a lot darker a lot earlier than it does now. So you can imagine some of the working conditions that they worked in and how they worked, and the health and safety hazards to that, not only in the factory but also to their personal health. And a lot of people tell me today that because my father passed away with cancer, that the kind of cancer that he passed away with could be, I don't know, it's factual, acute myeloid leukemia is something that you get when you work in fumes for many years.
Joined with my father in Sheffield. I start the job within 1 month. The first job, call him the factory, Thomas Staton, is near railway station. That time they call him Victoria Railway Station, just next door there. So I did work for a year, and I get only £2.50 a week. And I'm so stupid. I do 16-hour work in rolling mill. So I do very hard job, and then slowly, gradually, then I did other one factory. Call him Swift Brothers. Is also in Hillsborough. That is also rolling mill, and one other steel mill called him Alfred Street in near Meadowhall. Just shed. There is no gate, nothing. We work, in front is very hot, back is very cold. So when we start the work, it's very, very cold in winter. But when we start work, then we could warm up, and it's very tough, and because my hand's so weak and with the steel work, so it's still the thing is still there, I can't, this mark still in my finger still now, and it's very hard job.
It was freezing cold when we landed on 25th of December. We came to England on Christmas Day, and it snowed very heavy at that day. And when we came out, first time I've seen snow, and it's something surprises me. You see, I was picking snow up, and that is really cold. We came, and they used to have we used to live on London Road in Sheffield, and my father has asked somebody, and they drove us from London to here. And when I came, there was a big fire, and everybody was sitting down in the front room. You see, they used to put coal in to burn the fire, and the house was full of people. A lot of people in sort of terrace house was living there, you see, and it was all cramped, and there used to be toilets outside, and such a cold nights and days, you have to go outside to go to the toilets. There wasn't a bathroom like we have bathroom now. We have big tub, everybody had to take a turn to take a bath as well. But it's a huge difference, immensely.
My father worked in John Fowler, then he went on to work for Daniel Doncaster on Penistone Road over in Hillsborough. And worked really long hours, long shift. He would go in the evening about 4 o'clock and probably would finish the following day at about 8 o'clock. Long hours, long shift. He would take the food with him. They call them tiffin carriers, but where they have about a few compartments. And my father would have a salad in there, a curry in one compartment, and maybe roti on that, and he really worked really hard and contributed quite a lot, as did all elders contributed quite enormously to the development of this country, to the economy of this country. In the firm that he worked over in Daniel Doncaster, obviously worked as a sort of labourer, just a manual job. It was quite a tough job, long hours, but it was. I suppose the money was, the wage was quite reasonable. Then he returned to Pakistan in the 80s.
Sort of experience for me when I first time. My father was working in a Kali factory. I can't remember the name of that factory, but it used to be called Kali factory.
I think you call them British Hitchesons or something.
Something like that, yeah.
He's near.
And my brother has took me there, where our father was working. Wallahi, I could not recognize my father. And he died. He had TB due to working there. There was no safety, equipment. When they're working there are no gloves and no mask or goggles or anything like that. No safety. So those were the condition our people worked for this country.
लेका का माहौल ये था कि फाउंड्री में तकरीबन 50-50 जो थे ना, अब अपने पाकिस्तानी थे और कुछ गोरे थे. मुझे जो है ना वो मोल्डिंग शॉप में जॉब मिली थी, एज ए मोल्डर. तो वहाँ मोल्डिंग की 6 मशीनें थीं, 3 हम पाकिस्तानी थे और 3 अंग्रेज़ होते थे मोल्डिंग मशीन पर. तो मोल्डर के पैसे भी अच्छे इसीलिए होते थे. तो उस वहाँ मैंने काम किया मोल्डिंग में एज ए मोल्डर. तो माहौल बड़ा अच्छा था वहाँ अपने कोई उस वक्त जो किसी को कोई नहीं था कि ये कौन है किस तरह है। लेकिन असल बात यह है कि सब लोग उस वक्त प्रदेश में आए थे ना, तो एक दूसरे का हमदर्दी होती थी। काम उन दिनों होता था 5 दिन ज़्यादातर लोगों का, सोमवार से जुमे तक। तो हफ्ता और एतवार को लोग जाते थे दोस्तों के यहाँ, मैं आपके घर चला गया, आप मेरे घर आ गए। टेलीफोन वगैरह पे नहीं होते थे, बस पर बैठा और चला गया, या पड़ोस में है तो चले गए, वहाँ बैठे दिन वहाँ गुजर। बल्कि वो फैक्ट्री में जो हम करते थे ना, वहाँ ही पहले सलाह कर लेते थे कि कल हमने कहाँ जाना है, इस तरह होता था। हाजी फजल अहमद साहब वहाँ काम करते थे, हाजी रंगबाज खान, उन्हें तो मैंने खुद ही वहाँ जॉब लगवाई थी। उसके बाद भी और काफ़ी आदमी थे वहाँ जो है ना। तो हफ्ता और एतवार जिस दिन छुट्टी होती थी, तो हम सब का प्रोग्राम ये होता था कि अल्लाह जरस के आज को उस्ताद साहब फौत हो गए हैं, शेर गांव के थे, तो सब वहाँ जाते थे। तो उनके अपना बेटे खलील और नसीर हैं, तो इनकी अम्मी जो है ना, वो उन्हें पता होता था आज एतवार है, कोई ना कोई मेहमान आए, तो वो हलवा स्पेशल तैयार करके रखते थे सर्दी में, जब जाओ तो उधर बहुत अच्छा माहौल था उस वक्त।
इतने फिर आके ते विद इन फ्यू डेज लेक आकर इंजीनियरिंग कंपनी जॉब लब्भी वो कहना हमर ड्राइवर। ओल्डन डेज वेरी टेरिबल डेंजरस जॉब। सारे पाकिस्तानी लेबरर, सारे पाकिस्तानी 99% लेबरर, और मशीना पर सारे गोरे। देम डेज टिंसले में रहना सा, तुस बिलीव नहीं करने कि टिंसले तू जाना सा तो उत्थे आर्चर रोड लैना सा, तो मैं निशान रखे सी वो एक स्नो के वो लॉन्ड्री नहीं अजय भी है और चीज़, उसकी तकना रहना सा कि अग्गै न मैं चला जा। उसकी जब आना सी तो उत्थे लै जाना सा, कोई असी ग्रां ने लोग शहरां में तै नहीं सी। और उसका खतरा होना सी कि पुल भी ना जाए, इक्को जे मकान न उत्थले ले काग च उत्थे पुरदे कारां ने बनने सना, ते लोहे नी पीसां फायर भी रखने सना, जां रेड हाट होई जानी सी ना, वो फिर कट के ते नहीं सांचे छोटे जे अजकल तो मशीन डिफरेंस ना, फिर उप्पर हमर अबाउट 5 मन अपनों रस्सी नाल उसकी थल्ले सट्टा मारना सी, फिर परचाओ, वेरी डेंजरस। सो उत्थे कम कीता मे बी 1 ईयर और मे बी लैस। वो भी जॉब पसंद ना आई, तो फिर जिथे मैडो हाल है ना अजकल, इतने एक फैक्ट्री होनी सी मिल्स पा इंजीनियरिंग कंपनी, इतने फिर मैं कम किया अपने मशीन ऑपरेटर, असिस्टेंट मशीन ऑपरेटर। सो उत्थे कम किया तो 3 मंथ आफ्टर फिर उन्होंने क्या वॉलंटियरली जेड़े फर्स्ट एड नहीं को नर्सिंग कोर्स करना चाहने होते, तो सो मैं आफ्टर 4 मंथ नर्सिंग, बाकी सब गोरे ही सन, मैं ही सा नर्सिंग कोर्स किया फर्स्ट एड, फिर नहीं सिल्वर बैज क्वीन की तरफ तो लाया ना, तो कंपनी विच मेरा नाम लिखे सी MM सलीम। कोई एमरजेंसी कोई एक्सीडेंट हो जाए, टैबलेट्स उत्थे एंबुलेंस अस्पताल भी सी, देम डेज बिजी सी ना, मैनी थाउजेंड कम करने सन, तो अस्पताल की चाबी भी मेरे को सी, जो फैक्ट्री न अस्पताल सी। सो हर बे विच गोरे सन, तो मेरा भी एक बेच मेरा नाम लिखे सी। कोई गोरिया ने अपनी बे विच कोई प्रॉब्लम पै जाना तो गोरियां को नहीं समझाना, मैनू इतना लाई करने सन मेरे को आ के वो सलीम लेट्स गो अस्पताल च असी गोली चाहिए है या प्लस्तर चाहिए, सो मेरे अस्पताल को भी उन्होंने चाबी होनी सी, तो फर्स्ट एड भी। कोई 4 महीने गुजरे, बिलीव मी, 1 ओल्ड पर्सन उसके हार्ट अटैक हो गया अबाउट 60-65। तो मैं उत्थे कल जा रहा, तो कंपनी डायरैक्टर मैनेजर दे यूजली वर्करां नाल गल नहीं करने, डायरैक्टर फोरमैन जड़ा होना, तो वो ले डाउन सी ना, तो फोरमैन आना मिस्टर सलीम चाबी कितने, फर्स्ट एड जड़ा एमरजेंसी बेडां सब कुछ लगे होना सी। मैं चट खोली तो उन्हें फ़ोन किया, उसकी लटाया गोरे की, 3-4 हफ्ते ने बाद वापस आया। एंड ओ थैंक यू मिस्टर सलीम, तू मारी जान बचाई है कि तू झटपट मिकी एम्बुलेंस उत्थे पहुँचाया। सो गोरे इतने अच्छे सन, बिलीव करके मैं अगर किसी एक गोरे ना गल करना, दूसरा है वो माई गॉड तू माड़ा फ्रेंड ने तू उसकी दोस्त बनाई कि मी छोड़ देता है।
My dad, Fazal Ahmed, came to the UK in the 1960s. He was in the British Indian Army and fought in World War II in North Africa and received the African Star in recognition of his services. He was invited to the UK by the Queen through the voucher system. He was settled in Sheffield and worked in the steel industry all his life. Started at William Hills and later finished at Laycock. He used to go walking to work in the morning around 4 or 5 and finished at 6 in the evenings. He also used to do overtimes. On Saturday mornings he worked very hard and supported his family here and abroad in Pakistan. I remember one Christmas we went with our dad to the work Christmas party, which was for the children. There were big tables laid out with party food and their kids, games and plenty of sweets. Everybody got presents. On Sundays they would always get together with friends no matter what.
ਕੰਮ ਕੀਤਾ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਆਲਮ ਸ਼ੇਰ ਫੈਕਟਰੀ 'ਚ, ਉੱਥੇ ਮੈਂ ਲੇਬਰ ਸਟਾਰਟ ਹੋਇਆ। ਫਿਰ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਮੈਂ ਕ੍ਰੇਨ ਡਰਾਈਵਿੰਗ ਕੀਤਾ ਉੱਥੇ 5 ਸਾਲ। ਉੱਥੇ मैं स्टील ਨਾਲ ਕੰਮ ਕੀਤਾ, मैं ओवर ड्राइविंग करना रहा, मतलब फर्नेस मतलब लोडिंग अनलोडिंग करना रहा, मतलब स्टील। ਉੱਥੇ 5 ਸਾਲ ਕੰਮ ਕੀਤਾ। ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਫਿਰ मैं पाकिस्तान गया, शादी की है, फिर मैं आया वापस तो मैं स्टार्ट होया इंग्लिश स्टील। 3 महीने में उत्थे काम किया ड्राइविंग। उत्थों मैं लीव किया, फिर मैं वीकर स्टार्ट होया, वीकर फाउंड्री इत्थे मतलब गाटर स्ट्रीट। उत्थे मैं 35 साल काम किया ओवरहेड क्रेन मेल्टिंग सैक्शन। उत्थे काफ़ी अरसा काम किया, 2 शिफ्टां सन, मॉर्निंग 6 to 10 करना। मैं ओवरहेड कम करना सा उत्थों, मतलब इशारे नाल ही सारा काम करना सा अपर परसा। तो मेल्टिंग सैक्शन से मेल्टिंग फिर मशीन पाते सन इस तरह, तो फिर वो तैयार जिले आते सन, फिर लोडिंग करके ना वो आउट मशीन शाप जाते सन, उत्थों तैयार होके पुरजे, ये आम जड़ा ना मतलब जहाज़ों के पुरजे बनाते सन, मतलब रोल राइज के आखने सन, वो बनाने सन। कुछ अमरीका ने भी आर्डर होना सी, पाकिस्तान ने भी काफ़ी आर्डर होने सन, वो बनाने ने से मतलब तो बहुत अच्छा काम किया उत्थे। मेरे मतलब गोरे ही मेरे फ्रेंड बन से, अपने ही फ्रेंड से मतलब काफ़ी। तो उस तो बाद मतलब मैं रिटायरमेंट होया, मैं आखिर मैं काम नहीं करना, फिनिश। माहौल अच्छा सी, मतलब है कि ज़रा गंदा कम सी, मतलब माहौल स्मोक ऊपर जाना सी। फाउंड्री सी ने मतलब वो तो मेल्टिंग होने सी, मतलब गालने से उत्थे स्टील की गाली, तो फिर मतलब मशीनें बाने सांस क्रेना नाल, तो क्रेना फिर मतलब कन्ने सी मतलब बाहर। तो 3 क्रेन ड्राइवर सी, एक क्रेन ड्राइवर ना अच्छा तो असीं कवर करने से एक दूसरे ने जॉब। लेकाक होई है जर्मन फैक्ट्री, जेड़ा वो स्कूल है ना, अबीडेट स्कूल, फिल्मा सचे स्कूल नहीं, उत्थे लेकाक कारखाना सी। उत्थे नाइट वाले की लभने सी 11 पाउंड, डे वाले की 9 पाउंड। असां इत्थे 17 पाउंड, 16 पाउंड, 15 पाउंड बनाई ने सा। हार्ड जॉब सी, 28 टन माल लिखना सी, समझी क्यों ना? 28 टन, 25 टन साइज बजी जाए, साइज बजी जाए तो फिर गोरे बड़े जोर आ जाए, गोरे बड़े जोर आ जाए। मैं फैरज बारी चाहिए बनस 160-70 पाउंड बारी ना वजन हो। बारी ना वजन क्या थी, फोडे पर लिखे होना सी 160-170। 6 जने सन, 3 शिफ्टां 2-2 जने काम करने सन। 10 बारियां मैं बहियां ना, मैं बही रहा, फिर 10 बारियां दूआ ਤੇ ਸਾਰਾ ਦਿਨ ਬਾਰੀ ਬਾਣੀ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਕੋਲਾ ਪੈਣਾ ਸੀ ਕੋਲੇ ਫਾਇਰ ਕੋਲੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਨ ਬਾਰੀਆਂ ਬਣੇ ਵਾਲਾ ਪਿੱਛੂ ਬਣਾ ਨਾ ਤੇ ਅੱਗੋਂ ਕੋਲਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਅੱਗੇ ਜੱਲਾ ਨਾ ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਨਾ ਮਿਲਣ ਵਾਲਾ ਨਾ ਲੋਹਾ ਠੱਡਾ ਅਪ फायर वो इशारा करना उसकी फायर अपर कर वो कोला और मारना तो वो मुक्स ते स्मोक पीछे ही जाना वेरी हार्ड जॉब सी चंबड़े ने अप्रैल में की अकादमी दी इंग्लिश स्टील च कम करना सी जामा इंग्लिश स्टील जामा च बड़ी कारी नहीं इंग्लिश गवर्नमेंट की फैक्ट्री सी वो मैं आख्या फिर मैं खड़ी थे मारा पिरसिना ना बंद पाया वो मैं चाहे पुथू चाहूँ खाली पतलून ते कमीज ही होवे ते सेफ्टी बूट लगे सिरा पर भी कोई नहीं टप्पी वगैरह इतनी हार्ड जापान सन द गोरे आफ्टरनून जिसले छने सन आफ्टरनून दो गिलास मारी दशने सन ते ओ थकड़े टुटने नहीं सन जरा सुस्ती करो ना ताने भाई टायर स्लिप नहीं हो जा राती ते इतने औखे जापा सन उस तो बाद 3 शिफ्ट 6 वाल 2 वाल 10 वाल फिर 6 मोनी 3 शिफ्टा चलनी सी कारीगर मैनू भेजन भाई कंटीन विच नो शुगर मैं आख्या मैं उत्थे जाने तोड़ी मिगी याद ही ना रहे भाई नो शुगर कैसे आखने लिखो कागज पर लिखो वो मैं उत्थे कागज दसा ते चाह तुसां की बनवाई आसां
we discussed a lot of the issues, about the elder generation, how they came here, the problems they faced. But if you compare it to that time and now, the problems, the phone we get, the calls we get, mainly talking about issues today, it's still similar. In the 70s, we had the issues of the National Front, and I remember the media used to cover them. When I was in the BBC, we used to always interview people. Now it's maybe about EDL, etc. So it's the story is still similar. There's still a lot of issues for the Pakistani or the Asian community in the UK. So we do discuss variety of issues with current affairs. Currently, we discuss a lot about Pakistan, what's happening in Pakistan back home. With the political turmoil in Pakistan. There's always political turmoil in Pakistan, but it's ongoing. The elders, my first recollection is when the elders used to come from the factories. You could hardly recognize them. Long day, long shift. Because we moved in obviously with my mom, my dad, all as a family, but there were some people whose families weren't here, so they used to come back, and one group of people used to come and finish the shift, and then the others used to go do the night shift. Very hard work. I can still see them coming with their long dongeries on, and shattered, really shattered, and they were just absolutely looking worse for wear, really, but very strong men, very strong-willed. Plenty of work as well. I mean, they could leave one factory and just go to the next factory. People used to literally dragging people off the streets. So, but there was plenty of work, but plenty of cohesion, bonding, friendships that lasted for a lifetime. And it was hard times, but at the end of the day, really, really a good times as well as a community. Some of them used to be coming back and you could hardly recognize them, with all the ash on their faces and everything. And there used to be a Turkish baths, I still remember, in the Healy area of Sheffield. They used to all go there in communal baths, have a bath once a week or something like that. And, it would just... I remember even seeing my own father once. I had to go and visit him in one of the factories where I used to work. And he came out and I couldn't recognize him. It was all... The dongri was all pitch black and everything, had big goggles on and everything. So it was really, really, a difficult work and very, very hard, back-breaking work. Maybe a lot of the younger generation today, I don't think we could cope with something like that. It was very, very hard work. the atmosphere in the factories, I recall, I only went on a couple of occasions to, sometimes once or twice my dad forgot his packed lunch, whatever. So we went there, I went to visit him, and the noise was deafening. The noise was absolutely deafening, and in the later years, a lot of these people, had like industrial, deafness claims and things like this because you just couldn't stand there. But they all had goggles and ear muffs on as well. So because it just you couldn't stand there if you didn't have the right protection, and it was choking atmosphere, dark, miserable. Depressing, really, really depressing. And the hours, and they used to always try to do the extra time as well, overtime, etc. It was just long hours. Long hours in the Sheffield Steel Industry, or there was a lot of industry in Sheffield, but it was a great contribution from the elders. In the local industry, they played a pivotal role. The elders used to, like I said, they used to live like 10, 15 to a house, and it was funny because we used to see some of our uncles, making the chapatis and cooking themselves. They were good cooks, mind you. They were really good cooks, some of them. And Sunday, if they had a day off, they all used to get together, eat in one place, but wash their own clothes. And even going back to Pakistan, it was once in every maybe 5 to 10 years, maybe. Like they all came together and looked after that person. They made sure they G'd him up, and they said, they looked, it was like looking after each other, not looking after number one. It was about each other. It was about hearts and minds, not like the individualistic society we live in today.
Within about 5 years, so 1973, 74, I started. I left school, and I got an apprenticeship with the Edgar Allan Foundry. Edgar Allan Foundry, and I went for a few. In those days, when you used to leave school, you used to get the careers office giving you a few sort of slips saying, go and try this firm, this firm. I had about 3 slips. One was to Tysex, it was in town, and there was another one, and I went to that place. They weren't interested, or they were saying that I had some problem because I didn't know about health and safety, but I thought, well, I don't have no problem with my language or health and safety. Anyway, as it happens, I went to Tinsley, Edgar Allan Foundry, and I talked to the manager there, and the manager actually, and he interviewed me, and within about half an hour I got the job. Job meaning apprenticeship for 4 years. So I was a trained apprentice for up to 1978, and in that time I worked in engineering for 12 years, from 1973 to 1985 January, and that's when I left. So I spent a good 12 years in the industry, working in a machine shop as a eventually I was trained in a mechanical engineer. A lot of the people who were living there, working there in the industry, the firms started going down, dwindling. A lot of firms went recession, you're talking about 49,000 people employed there. Then eventually they ended up with about 6,000-7,000 people working, by 1980s. So by 1986, 87, I left engineering in 85. In 88, all the industries around there was demolished because Sheffield Development Corporation came on board, and they were thinking about building what we know as Meadowhall, the arena, and all the other developments around there. There was a lot of people in that shop floor, in the factory, Edgar Allan Foundry. It's exactly where the next store is now, and the Costa Drive-In in near Meadowhall, that's where my firm was. There was other firms there. There was Dunford Hadfields, there was Airex, which was part of Edgar Foundry, Edgar Allan's Airex, and our machine shop, which was Edgar Allan Foundry. And we had a pattern shop, we had a melting shop, we had a furnaces, obviously. We had people, and we had the people working in where they were smelting. There were different departments. Pattern shop was where they made the patterns of the actual ingots and things like that for the parts. and then they went to fettling shop. Then eventually the final thing was in the engineering shop, was the machine shop where I was working, and so that firm eventually closed. I think it got taken over. Edgar Allen's initially was called, I think it was called, then for one point it was Balfour Darwin's, then it was Edgar Allen, then it became Aurora, then it became some other firm. There's so many different firms. I think at the moment it's Firth Rixon's took it over eventually. So there were so many different players, there was a lot of mergers and takeovers. So working conditions, obviously, in a machine shop, a lot more easier because you're working on a machine. You actually, but the conditions working in when you used to go into the foundry, where they're melting steel and things like that, very, very hot. I used to go in there, watch a lot of the Asian guys, a lot of the ones, Pakistani, Kashmiri, different communities. They were working in the hardest condition. Working in a foundry was very, very hard. And even the fettling shop, obviously the moulding, the actual pattern shop was easy because they were working with wood making moulds a lot easier, and also they were working with drawings.
उस वक्त आज का तो मॉडर्न टेक्नोलॉजी है ना, इस चीज़ां बनने नहीं, उस वक्त ओल्ड फैशन सी, यानी साढ़े मुल्क च अजकल है, इत्थे उस वक्त सी 50 साल पहले, और तकरीबन सारे ही बेशुमार मशीनां सन, स्क्रैप होना सी ना, पुरजे बनने से ना ते पाकिस्तानी सारे झाड़ू मारी स्क्रैप जमा करने, बिना सटने. और
I went there. The foreman who interviewed me, the foreman at the firm, he said, "What have you been doing?" I said, "I was teacher over there." He said, "I haven't got any teaching job. My daughter is also a teacher." He was very sympathetic and cooperative with me. And he said, "Can you do this?" They showed me practically. He said, "You have to print the name of the firm on the steel firm." I said, "I can do it. I will do it." So he gave me the job, and 3 days later, I think 3 or 4 days later, it was these 2 weeks holidays. He was too good. He gave me 1 week's holiday without, so I worked there. There were so many Pakistanis and members of ethnic minorities, they were working there. One of the person there, he knew me that I was a teacher over there. He used to tell them, "Oh, he's a teacher in this." And so the other senior workers, they were very cooperative. They gave me good respect over there. But when I was working there, steel work, the hammering, sound of the hammering, I was, very much fed up.
रमज़ान के महीने में जो लोग फर्नेस पर काम करते थे हमारे, वो फर्नेस जब वो अपना मोल्डर जो थे वो बॉक्स बनाते थे, मोल्ड हो रहा है ना, उसमें जैसे आयरन डालते थे, पिघला हुआ आयरन हो, तो वो उन्होंने तौलिए रखे हुए होते थे, पसीना भी पूछते थे, लेकिन यकीन माने कि इतनी गर्मी और फर्नेस पर काम कर रहे हैं और रोज़ा रखते थे. ये वो लोग करते थे इस तरह. वो कहते हैं कि अगर आप कोई काम करना चाहें, कॉन्फिडेंस हो, तो बस कोई मुश्किल नहीं है. जो लोग को मेरी तरह उस वक़्त आए 70 से पहले, 60 और 70 की दहाई में, तो बड़ा मुश्किल वक्त था. अकेले रहना, घर वालों की बचत करके घर वालों को नहीं बल्कि पूरे कुंभों को जो है ना मदद करनी, वो था. अब तो यहाँ मसलन जिस तरह आते हैं, बच्चियाँ शादी करके आते हैं, तो उन्हें तो पता ही नहीं होता कि ये हम क्या कर रहे हैं क्या नहीं. अब तो माशाल्लाह इतनी सहूलतें हैं, अगर आपके पास तालीम है तो अच्छी से अच्छी जॉब आपको मिल सकती है, बहुत सहूलतें हो गई हैं अब.
Yeah, I remember, our social life revolved around Sundays going to the Pavilion Cinema in Attercliffe. The first film I still recall I saw was Diwar, starring Amitabh Bachchan. What a film, and I was fascinated by this guy. What an actor. So I still clearly remember. And the samosa and chutney, everybody remembers that in the Pavilion Cinema. You ask anybody from the 70s, 80s, that was our treat on Sundays. Everybody from the Pakistani community and the Asian community, the Sikh community, the Hindu community, we all used to be there watching these great films on the big screen. And it was like, it was just fun days. If there was a sad scene, there was guys, grown men crying. If there was a fighting scene or if there was a dance number, hooting and whistling, some of the naughty guys. So it was a mixture of these things. But it was just, you were like living with the film. Because that was the only entertainment people had that time. That was it, really. The TVs used to be black and white. And we used to watch the news and only 3 or 4 channels. There was none of this stuff today. And but it was very simple, but very powerful at the same time. Very, very meaningful. And the flares, the big sideburns and all the flares. I still remember the collars, big collars, and all the dress sense was totally different. But sport and I think cinema were mainly our outlet. That was the main social life that we had. And it was good, healthy. And then cricket, we had a cricket league, playing cricket matches, fierce rivalry between Nether and Darnell boys. I mean, when we meet now, we laugh about it, but at that time the rivalry was so fierce. Few guys, the usual suspects, still around. They could still start trouble anywhere. We used to have a lot of argy-bargy. But now when we meet, and we look back fondly on them days. They were great days. People odd times maybe went to Bradford or Manchester because there was a larger community there. But it was very rare. People had never had cars. They never had cars. In the whole family, there was probably 2 or 3 cars. And there was no cars on the roads. The roads were empty. Now you can't find a parking place. That time you could park your car anywhere. The whole road used to be empty. There used to be, in the whole street, there was probably 4 cars, 5 cars. And there used to be Morris Minors and Cortinas used to be very popular. I remember the Datsun 120Ys were very, very popular with the Asian community. I remember the lovely Datsuns. Everybody had a Datsun. If you didn't have a Datsun, you probably never lived. Oh my goodness. They were cheap petrol, Datsun, 6 in the back, 3 at the front, and let's go to Pavilion Cinema. Those were the glory days.
Those days I heard that a lot of people were living in one house, but fortunately the house I came to, there were only 2 people. And we got there late at night, and then we went to sleep. And early in the morning, those elders, they got up and went to work. When I got up about 9 o'clock, and that night it snowed a lot, and there were plenty of snow outside, and I got up and I went outside in the yard to toilet, and I pulled my door behind me.
So you locked yourself out.
And I locked myself out, and I was in a pajama, in the snow. So I was just wondering what to do now. I couldn't see anybody. And fortunately, one of he became very good friend. He's no more, but he turned up with a bag. I can still remember him, with a bag of fruit in his hand, by Shabir. He came to visit me. And he looked at me and he started laughing. Every Sunday we used to go to cinema, for entertainment, Indian and Pakistani films. And maybe once a month, some of a friend we gather and go to Bradford. And there we have some kebabs as well, There was on Lumberland.
Then we have callers who are from the 70s, 60s. Well, they always relate to their time. They say, well, we didn't have this. So it's a brilliant combination where the youth are talking about the current issues, and sometimes there's a bit of a blame game, where the youngsters are always blaming the elders for this issue. But I tend not to agree with this. I think the elders played a huge role. They set up the mosques, they set up the community centres, despite not having great amounts of money at that time, because the wages were very low at that time, and £20, £30 a month some people were getting. But despite that, they did a lot. The elders laid the foundations, and now it's up for but the thing is, now these days we get a lot of professional callers, people are going more into the professional field. At that time it was the industry, restaurants, taxis, takeaways, etc. But now a lot of the youngsters are moving into media, accountancy, medical field. So it's a huge change. The community has evolved, but the sad thing is that we've evolved, but in some ways, yes, we've progressed, we've done well, people are doing well, but in some ways we've lost that community bonding, the cohesion, the family ties, and from one family there's obviously 4 sons, 5 sons, then their families have gone larger extended families, so people tend to stick around with their own immediate families now, not like the old days where everybody used to come and visit you on Sundays, and all the uncles and aunties and they used to sit together. That we've lost, definitely. And another thing which I see a lot is that, and I notice a lot through my radio show, is that the younger generation are losing the language as well. The language is, they're not as bilingual as the first and second generation. The fourth generation is mainly more fluent in English, more comfortable in English language. So, which is a factor definitely now, and that causes a generation gap, a communication gap.
In 1998, I received this OBE for my. It was only that was the year when government decided that people who have worked, done some community work, they should be given some awards. I was chair of Racial Equality Council at that time, and the manager, he said, "Mr. Reid, why don't you do?" I said, "I don't understand these things, and I have not worked for my community for these awards or all that. I have served my community because I feel that if God has given me the ability to serve His creation, then that's why I'm proud of that. I've not worked for any financial reward or for any." He said, "Oh, would you mind if I send nomination for you?" I said, "All right." And then I got letter from Prime Minister's house at that office that keep it secret, but you will be getting information and all that. So I got this in 1998 for my community work in 1998.
अजकल ने बच्चों ते लायक ही नहीं करने मतलब कम करना लायक ही नहीं करने मतलब ते ना पढ़ाई वाले पास उन्होंने ध्यान है ते ना इधर बस वो तकड़े प्यू नहीं जायदाद है ते ठीक है और इतने चलना पिया मरी गया ते असा कब्जा करना थे बेची ते फिर रोज राइज कारा किनसा क्या किनसा पैच ऐश कर सो असें क्या जरूरत है कम करने बहुत बस अजकल ये सोच है उन्होंने बच्चों ने जेह्ड़े मतलब कोई रिश्तेदार है ना वो जाने में असी खाने वास्ते दे ते तां ही है ते वैसे नहीं उत्थे भी कोई नहीं बनने उत्थे ते कब्जा ग्रुप है उन्हें इत्थे मरसन ते असां पिछे कब्जा जेह्ड़ी सी ऐ थोड़ी बहुत जगह इसी पर असां कब्जा कर सो ऐसा वो उन्होंने ख्यालात इस किस्म ने जेह्ड़े उत्थे इत्थों जाओ ते नाले उन्हें पैसे भी दियो खर्चा भी दियो फिर उन्होंने ख्यालात हैं चलो उत्थे ही मरी जासन असां पिछे कब्जा कर सो इन्होंने ना दशना कोई नहीं ना कुछ ते मालिक असी हैं जेह्ड़े पिछे
Unfortunately, the only disadvantage I would see is they were not educated. Maybe they just came here to work. They were working class. They worked in the mills and the steel factories. So maybe they could not guide them from the educational side. But from a humanity point of view, the respect and the manners they give the older generation, we as parents cannot give the same, unfortunately.
I think the thing I come across a lot, the young people, they don't know the history. They need to be reminded that the history of struggle and history of their ancestors or even people, not ancestors, people who've living in this country, you know, trade unions who've been born in this, you know, people who are, you can say, you know, who the white British people who've been born, they've been in trade unions, and there's a lot of white people, working class people, but people from different communities that supported those struggles.
I think the younger generation not only need to know about their history, they need to research the history, they need to read about the history, they need to sit with their granddads, the ones who are still alive today, from the elder generation, and ask them how they came here, the struggles they saw, because any nation, any people who migrate, or even in their own countries, if you do not know your history, your background, you're going to fail, because you need to know the foundations, how you built those foundations to succeed further. If you forget your history, then you become history. Barrier. We are losing the language, the culture, the identity, the clothes. You know, these are your how can I say? These are your this is your recognition that these people speak this language, they wear this kind of dress, you know, and they are from so and so place, and we can never underestimate the sacrifices of our elder generation, despite hardships, despite all the hardships, what they went through, what they built for us, what they did for us, and we cannot thank them enough for how with dignity and honor and humility they lived in this country.
देखो ना कि यंग जनरेशन साड़ी स्पॉइल हुई है, अस कहने कि बच्चियां ना कसूर है, मैं तो पहले फादर ਨੂੰ ब्लेम करसा और फिर उन्होंने मदर की. अगर फादर भी जाहिल है, मदर भी जाहिल है, उन्हें की पता नहीं कि साढ़े बच्चे कमा के आने कितों आंदा.
Not the youth. We're very good at telling youth and youngsters what to do. We need to trust them, and what we failed in, I mean, I a little bit disagree with Aji Saab. They've done hard work. They've built the mosque. Done everything. One thing they're now willing to do is to transfer the skills and the power to youth. And they need to accept that their time is come now. They need to pass it on to young generation. Let them deal with it. Guide them. Learn from this community. They are very good at transferring skills. When they retire, they don't hold on to power. They train their youngs. We have failed to do that. So message for elders, not for youth. Trust them, bring them to mosques, make them part of that, and give them the power, transfer it.
Let them run.
Let them run the mosque, and you sit back and guide them. Do that.
ज़िंदगी में एक असूल मैंने ये रखा है, जहाँ तक हो सका किसी के काम मुझसे हो सका तो मैंने कोशिश की है, और किसी का काम करके जो दिल को सुकून मिलता है ना, खुशी, वो बहुत कम वैसे मिलती है. दौलत बेशुमार हो, वो खुशी नहीं मिल सकती है. तो मैं बच्चों को भी यही कहता हूँ कि जो है ना, कोशिश करें, दयानतदारी, सच्चाई, सच जो है ना, आखिर फतह सच की होती है. ये आर्जी चीज़ें हैं कि बेशुमार लोग, कल भी कोई कह रहा था जी कि कोई मिलियनर हो गया. मैंने कहा कि सुकून जो है ना वो पैसे से नहीं मिलता. सुकून जो है ना वो खिदमत खल्क से मिलता है, अल्लाह की याद से मिलता है.